So for querying part 4, I'm going to implement that new instruction file format that you saw over in the attendance before you got here. So I have the file open, and in this sense, the differences are where we have links to the lecture that you're following, but we're still creating that new file, so I'm not going to cover this in detail. You do want to copy this in. Remember, this is modifying the output, the proof of work file. It's modifying your bash command for the running the proof of work, and it still goes over the two terminals. Okay, now in this case it shows your initial commit. This is actually the markdown that you want to have, and then you complete your get workflow. Okay, so because you haven't written queries yet, right, you don't need to do a proof of work. So now we show, okay, we're going to go over operators. Here's where you start. Okay, then you code. And again, in this case, you're going to write 6 queries, right? So you're going to get your first one written on the terminal. Okay, code along. On the terminal 1, which is your SQLite. And again, if you have them reversed, just know which one is yours as far as the SQLite. And then, write those. And again, and this is in the file, right? So in here. So again, you just did that, but we've done that before in the other one, right? So you do that. So you should have 6 queries. And once you have them all with your print, right, then you run your proof of work. Okay. And then you have your commit message. Now in this case I dropped the whole terminal concept because I had hoped by now you had it, so you can give me that feedback. So now before you move on, comment out those queries. This prevents duplicates in your text file, your proof of work file. And now we move on to the next part. Okay, again, a little abbreviated here, but it gives you the flow of what you're going to do within this part. Or add a heading, write your queries, do your checkpoint, do your commit. Clean it up. Comment out those ones that you wrote. If you're going to take a break, if at this point you're like, I am burnt, I have had enough, then go ahead and submit your commit history into Canvas. And then I'll review it and give you any feedback. And then in your submission comment, say, hey, I'm taking a break. I'll finish by Thursday. Now, if you do take that break, but you finish before Thursday, resubmit again showing me you completed it, then I'll do a complete review of your work. But sometimes it gets missed if you don't do a new submission there. Then we continue on with 3. Right, we're going to take notes here. So in this one we do have queries, right? So we have quite a few here. We have 14 here, right? And then use print for each one. And then in the conclusion, you're going to have some your thoughts, right? Reflect what you learned in this code along section, right? So then do your final proof of work, and then here's your commit message. So I did add some content here for your submission instructions because some of you missed this, and I want to make sure you have it, right? So you go to your 28, navigate to your private repo, go to the folder. Now this is on GitHub. This is not in your code space. Copy the URL and it'll look something like, now your repo, your name is going to be here, but this is what it should look like in general except for yours. And I'm just giving you that so that when you can compare what you are submitting and then paste that into Canvas submission. And this is how I grade, and this is what I went over in the attendance, right? So I look at, are the notes like for every commit checkpoint, I check for, are the notes, if it was required, are there queries, and does your proof of work meet the do I see proof of work for the queries that you wrote? Okay, so that's how I look at that. That's what I look for. And then here's the grading specific. You'll have 4 commits, right? You'll have your SQL will have all your queries, but commented out the ones, and this is very common. I will see, okay, on these 2 commits, I'll see those queries commented out, but I may see the last ones uncommented. You will have 758. If it's a little less, a little more, but way off, it actually does lose points. Remember to do the dot print because that also makes it readable, right? And then make sure you do your notes. So this is the late policy. So I just wanted to go over this kind of quickly because we covered it in attendance, but just to give you the differences. But hopefully this new process makes it hopefully easier. You could also give me your feedback on the submission if you felt like it was helpful. All right, talk to you later.